If you haven't seen Clint Eastwood recently, prepare yourself. Not because he isn't the legend you remember, but because time has changed even one of Hollywood's toughest icons. At 93, Clint Eastwood is living a life few fans ever imagined. And behind the quiet headlines lies a story that's impossible to ignore. For more than 6 decades, Clint Eastwood stood taller than almost anyone in Hollywood. He wasn't simply an actor, he became a symbol of strength. Whether he was riding across the Old West, chasing criminals through the streets of San Francisco, or directing award-winning films, Clint always seemed larger than life. He rarely showed weakness, he rarely complained, and somehow, year after year, he kept working while others quietly disappeared from the spotlight. Many fans believed Clint Eastwood would simply keep going forever, but even legends cannot stop time. Today, seeing Clint Eastwood is an emotional experience for many longtime fans, not because he has lost his legacy, far from it, but because the man who once seemed invincible now lives a much quieter life, shaped by age, reflection, and heartbreaking personal loss. To understand how Clint arrived at this chapter, we have to look back at the incredible journey that made him one of Hollywood's greatest legends. His rise to fame wasn't instant. In fact, Clint struggled for years before audiences finally noticed him. Small television roles came and went. Some producers doubted he had what it took to become a leading man. But Clint refused to give up. Everything changed in the 1960s when Italian director Sergio Leone cast him in a series of Western films that would later become known as the Dollars Trilogy. Almost overnight, Clint Eastwood became an international star. His calm expression, few words, unshakable confidence. Audiences had never seen a hero quite like him. Hollywood quickly realized they had discovered something special. Soon came Dirty Harry. Then countless unforgettable films followed. But Clint didn't want to spend his entire career acting. He wanted creative control. So he stepped behind the camera. Many questioned whether he could become a successful director. Once again, Clint proved everyone wrong. Film after film earned critical praise. Movies like Unforgiven, Mystic River, $1 Million Baby, Gran Torino, American Sniper, and many others established him as one of the greatest filmmakers of his generation. While most people retire long before reaching their 80s, Clint continued making movies. His work ethic became legendary. Friends often joked that he never seemed interested in slowing down. But life has a way of changing everyone's priorities. As the years passed, Clint began appearing less often in public. Instead of constant premieres and interviews, he chose a quieter lifestyle. His focus shifted away from Hollywood glamour and toward spending time with family and close friends. Then came one of the hardest moments of his later life. In 2024, Clint's longtime partner, Christina Sandera, passed away unexpectedly. Her death deeply affected him. Although Clint has always been a private man, he released a heartfelt statement describing her as a wonderful, caring woman and saying he would miss her very much. It was a rare moment of vulnerability from someone who has spent an entire career keeping his emotions away from the public eye. Losing someone you love changes everything. No amount of success can protect anyone from grief. No award can replace a person who shared your everyday life. For Clint, that loss marked another difficult chapter in a lifetime that had already seen many close friends and fellow actors pass away. One by one, the generation that helped define classic Hollywood slowly disappeared. For fans who grew up watching those legends, seeing Clint today feels like watching the end of an unforgettable era. Time has also brought natural physical changes. The energetic actor who once performed demanding action scenes now walks more carefully. Public appearances have become much less frequent. His face tells the story of nearly a century of life. There are deeper lines, slower movements, a quieter presence. Yet something remarkable remains unchanged: his determination. People who have worked with Clint in recent years often describe him as mentally sharp and deeply engaged whenever conversations turn to filmmaking. He still thinks like a director. He still loves great stories. That passion has never faded. Perhaps that is why audiences continue admiring him. not simply because of what he accomplished decades ago, but because he never stopped creating. He never chased fame. He chased meaningful work. Looking at Clint Eastwood today reminds us of something we often try to avoid thinking about. Our heroes grow older. The people who once seemed larger than life eventually become living reminders that time never stands still. That realization can be heartbreaking. Not because Clint Eastwood has failed, but because it reminds us how quickly life moves. The movies we watched as children have become classics. The actors we once considered young have become legends. And the legends themselves eventually reach a quieter season of life. Yet Clint's story is not one of sadness alone. It is also a story of extraordinary resilience. Very few people build a career lasting more than 60 years. Even fewer continue earning respect across multiple generations. Clint accomplished both. His influence can still be seen in modern filmmaking. Young actors study his performances. Directors admire his simple storytelling style. His films continue introducing new audiences to a man whose work helped shape cinema itself. Perhaps that's why seeing Clint Eastwood today creates such powerful emotions. We aren't simply looking at an elderly actor, we're looking at decades of memories. Saturday nights watching westerns, classic movie marathons, unforgettable characters, stories that stayed with us long after the credits rolled. Time may have changed Clint Eastwood's appearance. It may have slowed his pace. It may have brought moments of profound personal loss, but it has never diminished the legacy he leaves behind. Sometimes the hardest part of growing older isn't watching ourselves change. It's watching the people we admired our entire lives grow older too. Clint Eastwood's life today may be quieter than it once was, but his impact on Hollywood remains as powerful as ever. And perhaps that's the greatest lesson his remarkable journey has to offer. Strength isn't about staying young forever. It's about facing every chapter of life with dignity, resilience, and the quiet courage to keep moving forward. That is exactly what Clint Eastwood continues to do.